Hey guys, Robert to a third American Angling. We've been looking at kind of jig modifications and little chunks, but today we're going to kind of put everything together in one big culmination and see what we've been talking about. So we're going to take this jig here, and I'm going to start by trimming the skirt. And we're going to do this by kind of separating out the back and the front strands. Once that's done, a little cut. It's very puffy, so we can kind of thin this down a little bit more. All right, so I'm liking this. All right, so what I'm going to do now, get these out of the way. So now that is trimmed, this band looks really beat up, so what we're going to do is take a zip tie. Quickly just zip tie the skirt band down, or the skirt down itself anyway. So now we have the skirt trimmed. The skirt's not going to fall off now if we've got it zip tied down. All right, and next we have the brush guard itself, the weed guard. So I'm going to take a little bit off that. So if you look at it, you can see how it goes past that barb. I like mine to be about to that barb. So what I'm going to do kind of though is just take it right in the corner. About right like that. So from there, spread it out. Just kind of thins it out a little bit. Make sure that's going to cover that hook point. Bend it back. So I want that to be almost touching that, so there's not much travel when that bass hits. Less pressure on the weed guard, the better as far as bites go. What that'll do is allow us to, kind of make sure that the hook point's covered. My big worry usually is grass will get between here, the hook point and the weed guard, and then you're all fouled up. But once that's done, we can look at doing, something like the Switchblade. Now, the Switchblade is something that I run fairly commonly, so I'm a big spinnerbait guy. So we're taking just a piece of plastic tubing, like what you use for keeping your trailer hooks on for spinnerbaits, a swivel, and a blade. And you end up with something like that. So we have a basic spinnerbait blade. Pick what you want. Sizes change, the speed, and all that kind of good stuff. Vibration. I like this for daytime. I'll run a Colorado blade at night. And I'll change it up depending on my fall rate and stuff like that as far as the weight of the jig goes. As far as the swivel goes, sample swivels are usually the way to go. They're a lot higher quality, take less effort to spin. The big thing though is you want to make sure that this plastic guard protects the swivel itself. Because if that swivel gets exposed, grass can easily get twisted up in that. So just kind of watch that when you're throwing it. But other than that, we've got one other modification or odd thing that I like to do with my finesse jigs, especially, is I'll take my finesse jig in that zip tie method, and I'll zip tie the front, and I'll zip tie the back. And what that lets me do is I can kind of, change the thickness of the bait itself. And that's a big deal for me. That being said, we also have odd trailers that I like to run. Things like this. This is a basic Lucky Strike, worm. I don't see a lot of guys throwing stuff like this, and I do really well on odd things like that. I've been known for throwing the back of a finesse worm on a jig. Back end of a brush hog, even drop shot baits. These drop shot baits have, really easy tail movement. So as you're swimming it through the water or kind of hopping it, that tail will, kind of bounce around and do its thing and give you a few more bites that you might not get otherwise. But then you've got your basic craws, fighting bug, things like that. Really, that's it, guys. Those are the few things that I do to almost every one of my jigs to make sure they're a little bit different than what they're seeing. If you guys like what you see, feel free to comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Anything you see here, I'll put in the description down below so you can kind of check it out in the store. And as always, guys, have a good one and good luck on the water.